Just a second, please. We'll just wait 1 or 2 minutes. Let others join. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, we can discuss.
I think previous session is postponed.
Which one? Which one, Navneet? 7:30 to 8:31?
Previous session, sir, 7:30.
No, we have conducted that.
Okay, okay, sir.
Who told you we postponed like that? Okay. Great. Let me share my screen. Let us not wait. Let them join. So we are talking about the integration of departments. So anyone can tell what is the relation between this one department to other department? Sorry. Anyone? For example, what is the relation between, there is a department called production. Okay. Then we fall under safety. Okay. What is the relation between these two departments? ఈ రెండు డిపార్ట్మెంట్లకి మధ్యలో ఉన్న సంబంధం ఏంటి? Okay, I'll make it simple. Then you have production and you have procurement. Okay. What is the relation between these two? Production and procurement. Purchase వాళ్ళకి production వాళ్ళకి ఉన్న relation ఏంటి? Then only we can able to understand this integration. Even it is right or wrong, completely all right. I told you, right? It is an adult learning. Okay. Internal customer, great. For procurement, production is the internal customer. Okay. He always satisfy the production department. Any other answer? Told it is an internal customer. Okay, fine. For the sake of freshers, I'll just take a quick recap. Okay. So when you talk about different departments here. I'll just take only quickly 5 minutes. So here I have my raw material. Okay, I'll say raw material. Here I have my finished goods, right? My finished goods. So when you say from raw material to finished goods, there are so many departments involved. So how the system get integrated? If you're already working in organizations, you will have an SAP system where, for example, if there is a production department here, where they need a raw material to process. So the raw material has to come to production. How the raw material comes in? Again, here you need a purchase department where they do the procurement. Okay, where they help the production department to get this raw materials. So once the raw material comes in, directly the procurement guy will not give it to the production. There is a other department which is stores. Once the material comes in, the material go to the store. Depends on the production requirement, he will give a request to the store saying that I need 10 tons of material or 1 kg of material. Then against the request, the store fellow will issue the material to the production. So initially, the production person say that I need so and so raw material. He will give a request to the stores. If the store is having that material, he will immediately give it to the production. If the material is not there, he will give the status of there is no sufficient stock or there is no stock. Then immediately this request goes to procurement, who will purchase the material for the organization. Then they will purchase the material, give it to the stores. Then based on the request, they will get the material from the production. So once the production is done, so where it goes? It goes to quality, right? Then once the quality samples is analyzed, it will go for filling, right? Then it will go to direct finished goods. We may even this also we can consider as a filling goods, or we can say or sometimes semi-finished or finished goods. So in between, we'll also have many departments between here. So you have a maintenance department who with the production, quality, and other departments, because for the production, the equipments or machines are involved. So definitely they need a help of maintenance, right? And simultaneously, there is a one more department where which is we are learning here, which is she department will be connected with all the departments, whatever you name it in the organization, from HR till the security. So we are interlinked. So whatever the safety issue comes in, whatever the environmental issues comes in, whatever the health related issues comes in, so we will be supporting this people. How we will support? In part of giving the advices, in part of doing the inspections, conducting audits, preparation of SOPs, work instructions, do's and don'ts, or safety programs implementation, okay, implementation of 5S, or giving the trainings to the different types of people as well as different set of departments to make them aware about the safety requirements. We explain about policies, we explain about job specific PPEs, we explain about we give training about job specific trainings, etc., etc. So how it is integrated? So in part of knowledge sharing, in part of compliance requirement, and also in part of implementation of safety requirements. So this is how it integrates the relationship. When I say relationship, how the departments are functioning, and also how we are integrated. I mean the flow of the process. Okay. So company lo maniki ila oka structure ani untundi. This is the basic function of the organizations. Okay. Any questions here? Or are we understood? Okay, that is the case. We'll go to next slide. I'll just erase this. So safety job, it is not as easy as people see. Once you go to your job, the production guy thinks that अरे यार ये safety लोगों को कुछ काम ही नहीं है, इधर उधर घूमते रहता है. They don't have any work. They just came here to just roam around, go back, sit there in their cabins, and just punch out, then have the lunch, then leave. But that is not the case, because that is the only one department where we used to handle from the topmost person of the organization till the bottom least person who is a daily wage worker or a daily wage employee, right? Great. Now we try to understand the main points. I mean, we have seen from the previous definition. So business unit is divided in sections and departments. So as I explained in the previous slide, and each section or department is assigned a defined function or duty. So stores department, they used to manage the stock of the materials like raw materials, semi-finished or finished goods. Or production department, their function is to produce the parts or the products. Then maintenance department is to make sure that all the equipments are in properly working order or a good working condition and healthy. The safety department is make sure that try to educate and aware about all the safety aspects and the hazards which are associated with the process, and also let people understand how they are or how they have to deal with the existing hazards in the process. So basically, in organization lo manaki different sections, different departments untai. Sections are departments. They used interchangeably and rendu okate. సో అందులో ఒక్క డిపార్ట్మెంట్ కి ఒక రకమైన పని అనేది ఇస్తూ ఉంటారు. స్టోర్స్ వాళ్ళు వాళ్ళ యొక్క స్టాక్ ని మెయింటైన్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు. ప్రొడక్షన్ వాళ్ళు ప్రొడక్షన్ ఎలా ప్రొడ్యూస్ చేయడము వాళ్ళ మెయిన్ ఫంక్షన్. తర్వాత ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ వాళ్ళు అవసరమైన రా మెటీరియల్స్ లేదంటే స్పేర్ పార్ట్స్ ని వాళ్ళు ప్రొక్యూర్ చేసి డిఫరెంట్ డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ కి ఇస్తూ ఉంటారు. So in the previous example, I took only procurement will support production. It is not the case. The procurement, it is a function where they support the overall organization. It's not only production. So wherever there is a need of material, wherever there is a need of a product or a service, a procurement is the one department where they help the other departments. That is the relation between procurement and other departments. Okay. And also the authority and responsibility of each section, department or group of people are clearly defined. So where we talk about roles and responsibilities of each department and also people within the department. అంటే ఒక్కొక్క డిపార్ట్మెంట్ కి వాళ్ళ యొక్క రోల్స్ అండ్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీస్ అండ్ అథారిటీస్ అనేవి క్లియర్ గా డిఫైన్ చేయబడతాయి. దాంతో పాటుగా విత్ ఇన్ ది డిపార్ట్మెంట్స్ ద పీపుల్ ఆల్సో ఆర్ పీపుల్స్ రోల్స్ అండ్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీస్ ఆల్సో క్లియర్లీ డిఫైన్డ్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, when you are joining in any organization, so they will give a JD, job description. So what are the expected skills from you? And once you join there, they'll give a roles and responsibilities, and also they'll give you the KPIs, key performance indicators. So after a year, they used to measure the KPIs which they have assigned to you. Based on that, your annual performance evaluation used to happen. Then the interrelationship among various departments and among the group of people working in them is clearly specified. So whatever the example I have explained, where they talk about the relationship between the departments. Okay. So this is a sample a structure where the organization have the common objective, like achieving the goal of the unit. So where we have different departments like the main office or front end office or front office or admin. Then you'll have personal department or personal managers or PRs, we also called as, and you'll have purchase, production, safety, sales departments manager or finance. Here we took only the few departments where you can have maintenance, instrumentation, projects, quality, R&D, etc., etc. So all these are work for achieving the goal of the unit. When I say unit, your company or the activity. Okay, that is uh, the overall function of the organization where they work for. అంటే వాళ్ళందరూ కలిసి ఆర్గనైజేషన్ యొక్క గోల్ కోసం వర్క్ చేస్తుంటారు. గోల్ ఆర్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్. కామన్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ ఉంటుంది డెఫినెట్లీ ప్రొడక్షన్. సో దట్ ఈస్ ది వన్ కామన్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్. Then they may say that okay, zero accidents or reduction of accidents by 10% from CY 2024. Then they may have zero product recalls. అంటే ఏ ప్రోడక్ట్ కూడాను రీకాల్ చేయబడలేదు, ఏదైతే ప్రోడక్ట్ డెఫిషియన్సీ ద్వారా. ఓకే. Then zero fatal cases, zero non-complaints with respect to legal requirements, etc., etc. So based on the common objectives, all these departments work together to achieve the organizational goals. Now we talk about safety organization. Again, it is same, but here it is simply what are the additional safety responsibilities or functions which we have assigned to the people. Mostly the definition is same. Safety organization can be defined as structure or process by which a group of people or employees are divided into sections or departments. Each section or department is assigned a specific safety function or duty. Authority and responsibility of everybody is clearly defined, and the interrelationship between them is specified for the accomplishment of organizational safety goals. Okay. Here we are defining the safety responsibilities of each function. So as we know, who is responsible for safety? I need answer from everybody. And don't copy the answers. Who is responsible for safety?
The safety officer and safety supervisors, or including all employees.
Okay. Safety officer, safety supervisor, including all employees. Okay. Any other answers? Okay, who is okay? I got an, I mean, with the Chaitanya's answer, I have a following question. So who is accountable for safety? Who is responsible and who is accountable?
Management.
First we answer the responsibility question, then we can answer for accountability. Yes, Vinod or Amit?
Management is accountability.
Management
Accountability.
Have accountability to take care of the employees.
Okay.
And responsible the site supervisor and permit holder who is taking the permits and taking responsibility.
Okay. Fine. Amit?
सर ये अकाउंटेबिलिटी के लिए नॉर्मली सेफ्टी ऑफिसर एंड सेफ्टी सुपरवाइजर है, और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की जो भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में काम कर रहा है ये सबका रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है सेफ्टी.
ओके. अभी फॉर एग्जांपल एक कंपनी में एक बड़ा सा एक्सीडेंट हुआ है, एक दो बंदा मर गए. सो हु इज आंसरेबल फॉर दैट इंसिडेंट? सेफ्टी ऑफिसर और the factory manager or the owner of the factory. ఏదైనా ఒక కంపెనీలో ప్రమాదం జరిగి ఒకళ్ళు లేదా ఇద్దరు చనిపోయినప్పుడు సేఫ్టీ ఆఫీసర్ దానికి ఆన్సరబులా, లేదంటే ఆ కంపెనీకి సంబంధించిన యజమాని దానికి ఆన్సరబులా? ఓనర్ చెప్పాం. సో వెన్ యూ టాక్ అబౌట్ అకౌంటబిలిటీ, who is the ultimate decision maker with respect to safety related matters? When you talk about responsibility, it is the general duty which is assigned or expected from the each employee. So safety is the everybody's responsibility. They can't escape from that, or they can't delegate their responsibility, right? They can't say that okay, आज एक दिन के लिए मेरा सेफ्टी, मेरा तो दूसरा बंदा है मेरा साथ में काम करता है, उसको दे देता हूँ, मेरा सेफ्टी भी वही फॉलो करेगा, मैं तो आराम करूंगा. ऐसा नहीं होता है, right? So safety is everybody's responsibility. When you talk about accountability, it depends on, for example, you have a group of people under you, they are working 20 people under one manager or a supervisor. So for their safety, you are responsible. Also, you are accountable to your management, right? You are not accountable to their families. You are accountable to your management. The management asks you only first. अरे यार आप क्या कर रहे हैं, उन लोग तो गलती कर रहा था, आप तो बताना था देख के, वही तो तुम्हारा काम है. They will ask you like that. But the top management, who is the owner of the company, he is the ultimate accountable for their families, or he is the ultimate answerable person in the case of any accident happens. Sometimes we have seen some of the cases, the safety officers also scrutinized, putting them cases on that, right? Safety officer, it is intentionally happens, the management try to escape and they put safety officer in this thing. But as I mentioned, so we have to do our duty and you have to maintain the documentation. It is not about only performing the duty. It is about how you are recording your activities. You do all the trainings, you do all the inspections, you do all the audits, but just you are keeping with you. Okay, I'm just giving the personal this thing apart from the syllabus. I'm giving you how the practically the issues will happen in the organizations. So whatever you perform, you should communicate to the management. For example, you found a legal non-compliance. It is newly came to the force. So you have to inform that, right? If you're not informing that, suddenly the complaints officer comes in, like the new complaints came from PCB. One day, fine day, the PCB engineer comes in and he may say that, okay, he will give you show cause notice, or he will give a memo saying that you are not fulfilling the requirement. Then the management will catch you. So whatever the non-complaints, whatever the new requirements, whatever the hazards you have identified, that is your responsibility to inform the management. Let the management take the decision or not, that is another story. So you just keep a record of it. I have communicated everything, I have given training to everybody, I have done my duty, then your job is done. So people following and all, it is a different story, because we can't change anyone, right? Nobody can change others. So it has to come from their own personality. We are not supposed to try to change. So by putting some pressure and all, we can make them to follow, but you can't completely change the behavioral aspects. So you should be very careful. You are working as a safety officer, because a safety officer is one who looks 1,000 people, but in other side, 1,000 people will look at the safety officer, because the view of the people is different on you and the expectation of the people is very much higher on a safety. So just be cautious and careful. So don't think that I am making you to scare. నేను ఎవరిని భయపెట్టట్లేదు, but I'm telling the real truth, what practically happens in the organizations. Okay, if you are very lucky, you will get into an organization where their primary objective is safety and production, they say secondary. Or sometimes if you are have very bad luck, you may landing into a company where they just keep safety officer as a requirement to fulfill the legal requirement, and they never ever bother about safety aspects in the process. You are so unlucky. So if you found such organizations, try to be there for some time, just leave the organization, try to find a good job and get into a good organizations where they give more importance to safety. Okay, fine. Let us back to this thing. So now we are very clear. So safety is everybody's responsibility. When you talk about accountability, we are also accountable to the management. But when you say the overall accountability, it is the top management accountable. Now we talk about the need of the organization, right? So definitely the organization is required. Otherwise, when your organization structure is not there, you will not have any people, you will not have any departments, so there is nobody to work, right? So basically the organization facilitates administration and other functions of the management process. And ఏంటంటే ఇది ఒక సిస్టాన్ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది. సో మేనేజ్మెంట్ ప్రాసెస్ అంటే ఏంటి, రిక్రూట్మెంట్ ప్రాసెస్ ఎలా జరగాలి, ప్రొడక్షన్ ప్రాసెస్ అంటే ఏంటి, ఎంతమంది ఉంటారు, ఓకే, ఎంతమంది టీం ఉంటారు, ఎవరు మేనేజర్, ఎవరు అసిస్టెంట్ మేనేజర్, హూ రిపోర్ట్స్ టు హూమ్, ఎవరికి రిపోర్ట్ చేస్తారు, వాళ్ళ యొక్క రోల్స్ అండ్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీని క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది. అండ్ ఫెసిలిటేట్స్ గ్రోత్ అండ్ డైవర్సిఫికేషన్. వెన్ యూ సే డైవర్సిఫికేషన్, there isn't a proper organization where it diversify into different businesses or different aspects. Initially they start with one production or one technology. They may try to implement different technologies. Initially they are into only engineering, then they came to pharma, again they went to agrochemicals, then they jump into cosmetics, etc. So the diversification happens and permits optimum use of technological improvements. So automatically the organization helps to use of the technological improvements. Like in the case of any improvements or comes in if it is required, and also the use of technology also allow us to get in. Then encourage use of human beings. Definitely yes. So human beings are the ultimate resource of any process or any industry, where without humans we can't do anything except some data centers or where completely atomized process. There are industries without human also, like Amazon warehouses where they use completely robots for handling of the shipping the goods. Then stimulates creativity. Yes, when it stimulates creativity, wherein within the organizations we used to plan for appraisal systems like safety promotional activities, or they'll give employee a thought of the employee or thought of the month, like that. Each organization will have different type of initiatives where they encourage the new ideas or innovative thoughts to encourage the people. Then attains maximum efficiency with minimum cost. So when you have an organizational structure where you will try to understand where we can reduce the cost, where we have the overheads, if we have a proper organizational structure where we can try to avoid the cost, and also we can try to get the maximum output with the maximum efficiency. Okay, that is about the need. Then we talk about the nature or the characteristics of the organization. So basically this is a step up to realize the objective, like the common purpose. When I talk about step up in the sense where the top management decides the objectives in the organization, it will be informed to everybody to understand what are the objectives of the organization. For example, as I said initially, the organization structure at the board level, like at the chairman decides the goals, then it will comes to the board of directors, then it will go to the unit heads. Okay, then the unit heads will inform the different managers under the unit heads. Then it will goes to the all the team members, right? It will go to all team members. So they will realize. So their goal is, for example, 0 accidents, right? The organization say that, okay, from this year, there is no accidents. Or else they may say that 0 LTIs, lost time accidents or lost time incidents. So when you say 0, then this objective will be informed or communicated to the other sections or divisions or departments or set of people involved in the organization. And it is so cooperative activity. So definitely the organization structure is a cooperative activity. As we seen in the initial slide, it is in the relationships, and also it is an integration process where we try to, just a second. One second, guys. Okay. So it is a cooperative activity. So organization definitely, yes, it is a cooperative activity because, for example, if all these departmental heads, okay, or you say here are departmental heads, here we have a low level or bottom level people, where all these guys are help the departmental heads. So these departmental heads will help the plant head. All these plant heads together help with the board of directors or CEO. So he will help the overall organization. In the sense, it is completely a cooperative activity. If the bottom level people are not supporting well, what will happen? They will not able to produce anything, right? If the bottom level people are not at all following any safety, or the safety complaints itself, it is not there, what will happen? There will be a chance of accidents higher. The frequency of accidents increase more every time there is an accident. So once accident happened, people get injured, production stops, you will not able to deliver your products, you lose the market presence, the customers are not interested to give you an orders, right? So slowly your organization collapse. So generally organization is a cooperative activity, and it is a process, function, or structure growth. It is a function in the sense, as I mentioned in the first slide, there is a defined roles and responsibilities or functions of the each section or department, and also it is a structure, like whatever the structure you are seeing here, right? And division into departments or groups or division of labor. So again here, the people are, or the total overall organization is divided into departments. As I mentioned, you have production, you have stores, you have purchase, you have safety, you have quality, you have projects, you have instrumentation, right? You have HR, you have admin, you have security, you have safety, right? You have personal relations, okay? You have legal, so many, and number of departments. The overall organization is divided into different departments or groups, and also the labor in the sense the number of people also allocated to a different set of departments. Then delegation of authority and responsibility, the chain of superior subordinate relationship is known as chain of command. It is an authority structure. Okay. What is mean by delegation of authority? Delegation of authority happens how? It is a downward or upward. Delegation of authority.
Sir, downward, sir.
Okay. Any other answers? Responsibility, authority. So authority is a downward or upward? I got one answer, it is downwards. What about then responsibility? If authority is downwards, okay, fine. So when I talk about authority, it is a downwards because you give your authority your subordinates. You can't give your authority your superior. When I talk about responsibility, it is always upward. The more you grow in the organization, from manager to plant head to CEO or chairman, your responsibilities will go higher and higher. Authority downwards, responsibilities upwards. Okay. Fine. I stop here. We have only 25 minutes. We can continue in the next class. Any questions as of now?
Sir, if it is somebody responsible